Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we got another unlikely comparison, but some people might be thinking about this and thinking about how these devices stack up against each other. So right now I have the Legion Go versus the iPad Pro M4 2024 model right here. So let's get into this comparison. It's going to be, super in-depth, comparing a lot of different things. So let's go. Okay, first things first, we got the build and design. This is an 8-inch screen. It has a 144 hertz refresh rate. It's a 1440p screen. It's a smaller screen, but it is a thicker device. So you look at it, like, it's very thick compared to the iPad. But it's thick for a reason, because this is a full-fledged Windows computer, so it has no limitations in terms of what kind of apps you can use. You can go crazy on it. You can use literally any app on this device because it is a Windows computer in that small package. And then you have the iPad, very thin. The iPad is it has like a weird resolution. It's above 1440p, I believe, but it's not 4K. I don't think it's 2K, I'm not sure. Either way though, it has a really nice screen, has a refresh rate of 120 hertz, and it can reach up to 1600 nits in HDR content or 1000 nits in regular content. And yeah, this is just a very thin tablet device, like super paper thin compared to the Legion Go. Like, look at this. It's actually kind of comical how thin the iPad Pro is compared to this. The Legion Go's peak brightness is actually 500 nits, so the iPad Pro is definitely going to be better outside. And yeah, so now we have the ports. So the Legion Go features two USB 4 ports that can connect to external monitors, external GPUs. You can connect to basically anything because of how powerful the ports are and the fact that it's a full-fledged Windows computer. You can connect up to an 8K monitor with 60 hertz or a 4K 240 hertz monitor. So Legion Go is very powerful, and there's a lot you can do with it, a lot you can connect. And I'm pretty sure you can also connect multiple displays to the Legion Go because it's a full-fledged computer. Another cool thing about the Legion Go is that it has a kickstand built in, so you can literally just prop it up in different angles. That's a really nice addition. Then on top of that, you got support for micro SD, so you can expand the storage with micro SD cards very nicely. It has a headphone jack built in right here, so you can connect your headphones. And then the cool thing about it is, obviously, it's not just a Windows tablet. It is a gaming handheld PC that has controllers that you can connect just like a Nintendo Switch. So you can take them off, you can put them back on, and boom. Now I have a portable gaming setup right here. And it's all proprietary. It connects like wired, so there's no latency. It just works really well. The iPad, it only has one USB 4 port, and it can only connect to one monitor at the time, and it can go up to 6K 60 hertz, I believe. And yeah, although it is nice to have Thunderbolt 4, which means you can connect to a dock with other peripherals and stuff, it still is limited to just one monitor compared to multiple monitors and up to 8K 60 hertz on the Legion Go. But anyways, let's get into like the real world performance and usage. So let's go into like basic navigation. So I'm gonna take off the controllers because we're gonna compare tablet to tablet right now. All right, so you turn the Legion Go on. It is a Windows computer, so you're gonna be running Windows on it, right? So you sign in with your sign-in screen, and it is a full-fledged touchscreen. So one thing I love about Windows is how easy it is to snap windows to the side. So for example, boom, now I can enter like split screen with another app, or I can bring it to the top, and they have like these quick split screen modes that you can enter if you drag your windows to the top. So like this, it's pretty sick. And yeah, you can drag and manipulate the windows however you want. So it is Windows, right? So you're gonna have so much freedom in what you can do. It is a smaller screen than the iPad Pro, so it's not gonna be as comfortable for viewing content, but the flexibility of Windows is really nice to have. So like just quickly drag and drop, it's full screen. I can, do whatever I want on this. You can swipe from the bottom to see your start menu, and you got your pinned apps. You can see all apps on the computer, and you can go back, swipe through the start apps, the pinned apps. You can tap and hold to have different options. Like you can move to the front, you can unpin, run as administrator, open the file location, pin to the taskbar, uninstall. That's basically how you navigate this device. You got your touches, your zooms, you got your 3-finger swipe from the bottom to open up this view right here where you can see all the windows, and then you can also start another desktop from here. Then you can go to 3-finger swipe again, open up all the windows, and you can drag another window to the other desktop if you want to organize, your layout and what's going on. On the side, you got your calendar that you can swipe for. You got your notifications that will pop up. On the left side, you got news and stuff, but I really just turn that off normally. And then the bottom right, you swipe up, you got your controls. So you got your brightness, your volume, your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, the airplane mode, screen rotation lock, because this can also rotate as well. And you can use it like this. If you want to use it in vertical, like a tablet, you can't do that. Then you got your volume controls, so you can literally mess around with everything, mix everything very easily. So of course you got your search, that you can search for apps and stuff like that on your computer, or files, anything on the computer you can search quickly. And you got your multitasking view again without doing the gesture, and your little taskbar. You can edit what apps are on the taskbar. And yeah, so tapping and holding is basically your right click to access, alternate things for more options. And you can do this, tap and hold to select multiple things. So that is basic navigation around the Legion Go. And because it is a Windows computer, it's going to be like, if you're familiar with like a computer and how it works, that's basically what the Legion Go is. It's just emulating that in with touches. The iPad Pro, it's a mobile device, right? It's something that you're used to if you have an iPhone or just a phone in general. It's the basic layout idea. So you got your taskbar for all your apps. Then you got your home screens. You can customize them to however you want. You got folders. You can make folders on the Legion Go as well, obviously, because it's Windows, but it's more in depth. Then you got your app drawer. So all your apps on your iPad, if you don't want them on your home screen, they will go here and you can find them. Swipe down to search for your apps on your iPad as well. And I believe you can also search for files too, which is cool. And then if you swipe and hold up, this will bring up your recent apps view. And then you can open whatever recent apps you were on before. So that's how you navigate through the iPad. You can swipe from the bottom to switch apps very quickly. And then if you enable this right here, this is Stage Manager. It allows you to open up multiple windows and do basically like limitless multitasking, which I really enjoy. So now I got these two apps in floating windows, and I can resize them to however I need. So this is kind of the closest you'll get to like multitasking and productivity, comparing to, actual computer. It works pretty decent. Like, I like it. Some apps, there are limitations. Some apps don't resize as well as others. Some apps are stuck in specific layouts and orientations, so you can't really resize them as much. But for the most part, I think it works pretty decently. I like Stage Manager. I think it's a good addition to the iPads. Then you have this button at the bottom to open up your app drawer as well. And then for basic split screen, it's the same thing. If you have Stage Manager off and you open an app, you can drag an app from your taskbar to open it into split screen. But right now I have Stage Manager, so I can't do split screen. But you can have, like I said, many apps open at one time in Stage Manager. So this is like 4 apps right here. You can go crazy with that. And then you swipe up to quickly exit out of everything. So now let's go over files management. So if you are familiar with Windows computers, then you already know how files management works on Windows. It's just better, if we're being really honest. Like, it's better than how the iPad handles it. So like, this is a full-fledged file system. So like, you can view it in all the different ways. And then you got all the information. You can scroll, you got your folders. You can go crazy on your computer. You can have shortcuts in the files viewing app. And you got access to so much more here, and it's just like a very traditional layout. You can format, optimize, clean up. You can tap and hold to, do different things to the files and stuff like that. So this is the files layout and how it works and looks. You can select everything and move them by holding them like this. And let's say you have multiple windows open. Now I can drag and drop my files to this window if I want to. It's just a very smooth and easy layout, easy workflow when it comes to like files management on a Windows device. You have access to everything. There's no hidden files, nothing like that. And there's no like for example, moving files on the iPad, you gotta select and then you can move like this. So you go through the whole device. And it's kind of like a mobile-esque type of files management and movement. You can also tap and hold, and then you can navigate the iPad with the other finger to find where you want. So it's kind of similar, but then again, look at how it takes up the pages. Like, going into a folder, it's like, taking up the whole page or the whole app, and it's just very, very mobile-y. Like, it's one thing at a time, whereas on the Legion Go, if I go into a folder, like, I just have this view. It's not like it absorbed everything, and I can go back to the other folder if I want. I have access to other things on the side, and I can literally open another window. Maybe it's just me and like I'm just used to this, but yeah, the iPad can also do multiple folder windows as well, multiple files app windows, so you can drag and drop to other folders like that as well, just like you can on the Legion Go. But I just feel like this is more traditional and what I'm more used to. But maybe if you get used to this might be a little easier because of how auto things are, if that makes sense. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying or if like you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, that's the files management. Like, you can do the same stuff basically, but it looks completely different on the iPad. This is more freedom and more like it's just there. Oh yeah, and then because it's Windows, you can't just swipe to close the app. You gotta tap the icon to minimize it, or you can tap up here to minimize it or exit it. But on the iPad, you can just swipe. So I think the iPad is more simple, more simplified compared to the Legion Go in terms of like just general usage, general OS stuff. But now let's go into like video watching experience. Okay, so the Legion Go is obviously on the website of YouTube, so it's not the YouTube app. And this is how it looks when it's in the small screen. And then if I go to the page, actually, this is how it looks in small screen on the video page. You can scroll down to the comments just like you normally would on a computer. And then you full screen that. And yeah, you can see a clear difference. The iPad Pro is just a bigger device, so it's gonna be more comfortable to watch videos and stuff like that. But honestly, this is not a bad experience at all. Like, it's pretty decent in terms of, you know, the size comparison, because the iPad screen doesn't take up all of the video because of the aspect ratio. So it's like you're missing out on this much, really. But don't get me wrong, the iPad is definitely better for watching videos and stuff. I'm not saying that the Legion Go is better, but it's pretty comparable. 8.8 inches versus 11 inches, so, you know, it's just right there. But in terms of like the clarity, the colors, the depth, the cleanness, I think the iPad just has a nicer screen overall compared to the Legion Go. But the Legion Go screen is not bad at all. But the iPad is superior for sure. But yeah, this is how YouTube looks on both of them side by side. And then we'll do a split screen with another app. So yeah, we'll do split screen. Let me just turn off Stage Manager. So this is split screen with another app. We're all watching the video and it looks like this in the landscape orientation. So this is going to be really small, basically the same size as this. And then if we rotate it into portrait, you're going to notice something with the iPad. The iPad does not support top and bottom split, which is pretty whack if you ask me. So yeah, the iPad does not support top and bottom split. It's pretty whack. Every other device does it, like, you know, Samsung tablets, Google tablets, Samsung phones, other Android phones, they all have top and bottom split. But the iPad does not. It only has split screen like this. So if you want to do a top and bottom split, then you're going to have to go into settings, turn on Stage Manager, and then you can multitask with your apps like that to get a similar layout. So bring this down here, then I can resize this app to go up here, and that is how you get a top and bottom split on the iPad. It's a little bit more work, but it's pretty comparable. It's decent. But yeah, obviously the iPad has a bigger screen, so multitasking is just going to work better on the iPad in terms of like the screen real estate and space. But like for something like this, like watching a video and doing something else on the side on the iPad, is actually not that much better than the Legion Go as you're seeing right here. Like if you actually want to use the other app, then you gotta make sure that YouTube is small enough for the other app to be functional. If YouTube is a little bit bigger, then it overlaps the other app. So, you know, the viewing experience is kind of funny and not that much better in terms of multitasking while watching a YouTube video between these two. But yeah, that was also a preview of how the multitasking works on both of them. And like I said, this is Windows, so you can do whatever you want. It is a smaller screen, but you got so much more potential, especially when you connect to an external monitor. So now let's talk about the performance. So the performance between these two is going to be interesting. I got Genshin Impact downloaded in the back, so I'm going to open up Minecraft and just try that out while Genshin is downloading for both these devices. That might actually hinder the performance, so we'll see. Should be interesting. Finally, I'm able to get Minecraft to start. So I was literally trying to start it, but then it opened and then it just glitched. You know, I was trying to open the game again and then it wouldn't work. So I had to restart the whole computer. So that's another thing you have to consider when you're talking about Windows versus iPad OS. iPad OS, it's simple, but it just works. You know, you go in the App Store, you download the game, and it just works. Windows, you're going to have random issues that could pop up potentially because it's a bigger OS, a lot of things going on in the background. You know, even Minecraft app on Windows is slightly more complex because you have Minecraft Java Edition and Minecraft Bedrock Edition. But I'm playing Bedrock for the sake of this video so that it's consistent between both these devices. So you actually do have touchscreen controls on Minecraft Bedrock for the Legion Go. So that's pretty sick. I didn't imagine using this device as an actual gaming tablet or like a tablet like this where you can play games with the touchscreen. So it's pretty sick, yo. Can't lie. And it runs pretty smooth. Let's just check the settings real quick. Go to video, scroll down. So we got fancy everything turned on the Legion Go, fancy everything turned on the iPad as well. Then for frame rate, we got by default, the frame rate is 34 chunks for the Legion Go. Recommended is 15 for the iPad, so we'll turn it up to 27 actually. And then the frame rate is maximum unlimited on the iPad as well. So let me just turn this down to 27 just so that it's comparable. But as you can see, the Legion Go has a higher ceiling in terms of, running different apps and gaming and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a pretty smooth experience. It looks clean. Like I could actually play Minecraft like this. If I'm trying to play handheld or with the touchscreen, I could play like this for sure. It's not terrible at all. I didn't see any stutters yet, even with the render distance. But as you can tell, the fan is going crazy with the Legion Go. And we'll get into battery life and stuff like that just now. But as far as like a quick gaming comparison goes, this is obviously not the most intensive game in Minecraft, but it is a game nonetheless that you can play on both of them, the same version on both these devices. And obviously it's going to run smooth on the iPad. I feel like it is kind of smoother on the Legion Go, but that's because it has a higher refresh rate screen, I feel like. And the Legion Go, like I showed in the settings, has more potential for a higher render distance. And yeah, overall comparable experience, screen is bigger on the iPad Pro, but the Legion Go has a higher ceiling in terms of refresh rate and what you can do. And then obviously you can play Java Edition, which is basically like the original PC version of Minecraft, which has more things that you can do, a higher ceiling in terms of like customization, texture packs, and just features and stuff like that. So, or I believe that's the case. But yeah, that's Minecraft on both these devices. So I just want to show you, actually, the Legion Go, you can control the power settings. You can go more in depth, obviously. So right now it was at 25 watts. So 25 watts is a lot of power to pump into games to make them run smoothly. And it's going to kill your battery a lot faster than, obviously the iPad at a similar level of power or like a similar gameplay level of smoothness. So if I turn it down to like maybe 12 watts, and then I will try Minecraft again to see how it runs, at 12 watts, to see if there's any major difference in performance and smoothness. Obviously, this is not a long-term test. The Legion Go is pretty good with sustained performance, so you shouldn't have too much dipping or the frame rate dropping after a while of playing. It just matters of how much battery life you have. That's the only thing you gotta worry about. So it's not bad with the same settings as the last time, but I don't know if you could tell, but it is a little bit more choppy. The render distance, things are taking more time to render in because the power output is lower. I put this to 12 TDP instead of 25 TDP that it was at originally. And yeah, it's definitely playable, but like it's definitely not as smooth as it was before, So that's something to consider. You gotta push the power on this device a little bit higher in order to get like a smooth experience. But when you push the power higher, you're consuming more of the battery and it will die faster than the iPad. Even though at the lowest power setting, it's still gonna die faster than the iPad. But with the higher power setting to make the games run really smooth, you're definitely gonna have way worse battery life than the iPad for sure. So yeah, this is at 12 TDP. Let me turn it up a little bit just to see if we can get a sweet spot for smoothness. Maybe like 15. Okay, 15 seems like it's a sweet spot for smoothness in Minecraft specifically. And that's the thing about the Legion Go too. You're gonna have to play around with every game you play to, find the right settings that work for that game. 15 TDP seems like it's the good sweet spot for making Minecraft run smooth, or at least Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So while Genshin is loading or downloading and installing on the Legion Go, I'll open it up on the iPad Pro and just show you what that looks like and how smooth it is. I believe you can use a controller, right? So I'm having more issues playing a game on the Legion Go. I'm trying to play Genshin Impact to show you the comparison between the two. And I tried to log in with Google on the Legion Go and the game just like glitched and it won't open back. So I'm gonna end the task and try it again. The game icon is still here, even though I end the task and it's gone from the task manager. It's pretty funny to be honest. Okay, now we're gonna try to start it again. So the authentication to login is failing, but I think it's because I'm using Brave and not Google Chrome as my browser, so I'm just gonna switch that real quick. And now the game is glitched again, so I gotta close it and then try it again. So here's Genshin Impact at the beginning of the game. My account is not saved on the iPad, so unfortunately I'm in the starter area and I can't adjust the settings, so it's like 60 hertz, 60 FPS. It's like 30 FPS, that's what it feels like, and it's not the smoothest experience, but just based on what I know, the iPad Pro is gonna have a really good experience playing these high-end games. Alright, I was able to get into the game on the Legion Go, so let's see what happens now. Okay, so Legion Go, you're gonna obviously be playing with the controllers, because it is a Windows PC, so let me just connect the controllers again. You just hold these buttons to reconnect them. So there you go, now I'm connected. I'm just gonna change the settings. Let's see if I can max out the graphics. in Genshin Impact and still have a smooth experience. So it's definitely the frame rate slowed down. However, let me turn up the TDP so that we can have a better chance. So if I go to like, let's say like 20 watts, TDP is like the power that the computer is pumping out from the CPU, GPU. And yeah, the experience definitely got a lot smoother. But yeah, again, it's not like a crazy area right here. I'm not fighting like any bosses or anything like that. So those areas might stutter more. But this feels pretty smooth already. This is my first time playing Genshin Impact with the controller, so yeah. We switch to her. So B is the thing. The heck? I don't know what this layout is. But yeah, it runs alright, and then as you can see, it's getting choppy here. Okay, it's really choppy right now. Okay, the game just minimized or closed. So that was strange. I'm just gonna put into performance mode, you know, go all out with the performance. Let's go to like 30 watts and see what happens. Okay, so at 30 watts, it feels a little bit smoother. A lot smoother, actually. So you could definitely play high settings at 30 watts. But again, like I said, using more power in the Legion Go is gonna kill your battery even faster. Like at 30 watts, you're probably gonna have around like 45 minutes to an hour of actual gameplay time. And then you're gonna need to plug into a charger. So this is not the most mobile experience in terms of like playing, you know, a smooth game for a long period of time. And then because it's a handheld like the Switch, you can connect your controller like this. And now I can walk around the house and play Genshin Impact. This is a really, really smooth experience that I'm feeling right now. Like it's actually nice. It looks nice. And you can probably adjust your settings to get like better FPS at lower TDPs and stuff like that. So right now I'm not doing the most optimal for in terms of performance to like graphical ratio. So you can definitely optimize it. You can change the resolution of the screen to make it lower for a better performance and just different things like that. You could probably push out around like an hour or two or more with Genshin Impact if you adjust the settings accordingly and you're not like fixed on playing at a higher graphical setting or higher FPS setting. But yeah, the experience is pretty cool, you know. It looks really nice at the highest TDP. But as you can hear, the fan is going absolutely crazy to keep it cool because it's using a lot of power to make the game run really nice. But yeah, I apologize with the iPad. I'm not in, like I'm not started at all in the game, so I can't really test. I can't change the settings of the game. This game, you only can do that after a certain point. So I can't really show you the high performance. But I promise you, if you go in YouTube videos of people playing Genshin Impact on the new iPad Pro, the performance is really good at the max graphics setting. So it doesn't disappoint at all in terms of playing games, especially high-end gaming. Like it's very powerful and probably can do it better than the Legion Go for like mobile cross-platform games. But the thing that makes the Legion Go special is the flexibility of it. So the Legion Go is a computer, right? It's a full-fledged PC. So you can literally play PC games. So games that the iPad can't even dream of playing natively. So I can play like, these are computer games like Maple Story, Grand Chase, you know, you got Rumble Fighter. These are games that are only on the computer. Then you got like console games that have been ported to Steam. So you got Sonic Frontiers, you know, Sonic Adventure DX, Terraria. Terraria is on the iPad as well. But you know, just a lot of different games. Multiverses, I could play that here. No Man's Sky, It Takes Two, Power World, I can play on this. And all those games that I listed, I can play them pretty comfortable at a decent frame rate. 60 FPS or more when you adjust the settings and stuff like that. And I can get, for the lowest end game, like for example, Maple Story is a game I play a lot. It's an online game. I can play this game for like probably like 3 to 4 hours, or maybe even more, depending on my settings, if I lower the resolution and stuff like that. So this is what makes the Legion Go superior in terms of gaming. Like flexible, you can play so many different games. And like I mentioned earlier, you can connect the external GPU and then just go crazy with the PC gaming on an external monitor with a keyboard and mouse. Like you can literally do real console level gaming, 4K, 60 FPS, 120 FPS with the external GPU. The external GPU allows you to just experience games in their fullness. Whereas the iPad is limited to what's available on the App Store and you can't connect the external GPU to give it more power. It doesn't have a built-in fan, so if it's a thermal throttle, that's kind of it. It has to slow down. This has a fan that keeps it cool. And then you could add like a cooler onto the iPad if you really want to. You probably won't need to anyways, but you could do that, I guess. But the iPad is really held back by its software. That's the main thing that we have to think about here. You could use a controller on the iPad as well to play it on the screen or on an external monitor. For a good experience, like the games that support it, the games that the iPad can play, it runs really nice, and the battery life is going to be better than the Legion Go. But again, the Legion Go is just so flexible. And these controllers, you could take them off and use them as a mouse, WASD pad, and go crazy and stuff like that. So that is gaming on both these devices. So very quickly now, I just want to compare the coffee shop experience, the productivity experience with these devices. So the iPad Pro, you have your keyboard set up, you know, the Magic Keyboard, and you can go to work with this. Like, you can type, the keys feel nice, trackpad is good, it's a decent size this year. I like the finish. It has another port on the side for charging the iPad while still leaving this port open for, you know, external SSDs and stuff like that, and just different peripherals that you might want to use. And you can literally get some work done with the iPad Pro. This is your coffee shop experience. And how it compares to the Legion Go in terms of weight is this whole package with the Apple Pencil attached is around 2.3 pounds. And then with the Legion Go by itself is 1.9 pounds. So Legion Go is actually lighter than the iPad Pro with its whole package. But then when you get something like this, because we're talking about coffee shop experience, you know, traveling and being productive with this device, when you get a keyboard and a little mouse, you don't need a mouse because the controller can become a mouse itself. But if you get a mouse and a keyboard, then it's around 2.4 pounds. So it's kind of a similar weight bracket when you think about these two devices. The Legion Go is a little more flexible in terms of what it can do. It can be a handheld, the controllers can come off and be a mouse as well, and it has a built-in trackpad, so you can still use that kind of functionality with the controllers on. And then what makes the Legion Go nice, like I mentioned earlier, is the built-in kickstand. So kickstand is set up, got my keyboard out, got my wireless mouse, and I can literally be productive on the Legion Go. Like, I can go to work just as much as I could with the iPad and its Magic Keyboard. So this is a really decent setup right here with the Legion Go, and what makes it flexible. And the screen is smaller than the iPad Pro, but 8.8 inches is basically 9 inches, and that is a decent size screen, bigger than your phone, and it's just like a mini tablet. Like, if you use an old Samsung tablet from the past, tablets were around this size normally back in the day, so it's not a small screen at all. And let me just show you, like, website browsing. Like, let's go to, you know, this is YouTube. We'll go to Google Docs, start a new document. This is your Google Docs experience, and it's not terrible at all. Keyboard's actually not connected, so let me just type something. Yeah, so you can use, the cool thing about the Legion Go is you can literally use the native Windows apps. If you use the Microsoft Suite, the Google Suite, you can download those apps directly onto the computer itself and run them natively. So you have all the features you're used to on your laptop or your computer, and it's just here. You don't have to use the web apps. But if you want to save space and you want to use the web apps, you can do that as well, like I'm doing right here. And yeah, Legion Go is a really good productivity experience, but it is in 3 parts, right? You got these 2 things plus the charger as well. You're gonna have to consider carrying maybe a portable charger because the battery life is not as good as the iPad. In general usage, when you turn the TDP down, like, you can go to power saving mode, turn the TDP all the way down to 5 watts, and you can browse the internet and do all that stuff with low power consumption, and it should last you like probably like 5 or more hours when you're doing stuff like this. But the iPad is just gonna last you a significantly more longer time. And this is just a simple little setup right here. It's like a laptop, so, you know, you can get work done. So that is how these two compare when it comes to like a coffee shop productivity experience. And yeah, next we'll talk about external monitor use. I'm gonna connect my iPad Pro to the external monitor, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like in Stage Manager when connected. So this is it in the keyboard. I'm just gonna plug it in here. And then boom, now you have Stage Manager, which is the desktop mode for iPads when you connect to an external monitor. Right there is my Mac Mini, forget about that. But yeah, so in Stage Manager, you can literally open up all your iPad apps. So if you want a game on the external display and full screen it, you can actually do that on the iPad. So let me just do that for you right here. I guess this is the biggest you can open Minecraft on the iPad, but connect the controller and then boom. Now I'm playing Minecraft on this big display, bigger than the iPad display, and I can go crazy with it. That's pretty sick. And yeah, so any game that supports the external controller, and now you have emulators on the App Store, you can go crazy with that in Stage Manager on the iPad. Then of course you can have multiple apps open. So you got the internet browser. I can resize all the apps how I want them to be. It is a little bit finicky It is a little bit more finicky than like Windows and even Samsung decks. It's not as easy to resize the apps and stuff, but you can do that here. As you can see, I'm manipulating and resizing the window. Then I got another app right here. Can resize that, can move them around, and bring them down to get rid of the taskbar. Open up the Files app, and then for Stage Manager, you have like different pages that open naturally. And if you want an app to come into a different page, you can go over, grab it, and bring it here. And if you want it to go back to its own page, you can do that. Just swipe it to the side, and it'll be in its own page. You can swipe up for all your recent apps to see what's open. And then, yeah, so let's see some full screen experience. So let's say you want to video edit on the external screen on the iPad. You can do that, and this is a pretty good experience. It's smooth. Like, the iPad Pro is just powerful enough to, do this without any issues. So if I cut the empty space here, delete that, very smooth. I can play back and no issues running the video. This is another video coming out soon, so if you are interested in Beyblade and stuff like that, check out my other channel, Mandem. Link is in the description. So yeah, video editing experience is nice on the external monitor. The iPad is definitely a flexible device when it comes to like what you can do. It can do a lot compared to the Legion Go. And then you can obviously full screen video on the external display as well. So let me open up YouTube in full screen, and I can literally watch, YouTube videos in all their glory on this external screen. You can adjust the resolution, go up to 4K, and then boom, I'm watching this video from my iPad that is connected right here. And then you can still use the iPad screen as well to do other things. So you have kind of like two monitors with the iPad. Obviously, it's going to be smaller. Whereas the Legion Go, it can do all this stuff, external monitor, but it can also connect to multiple screens. So it can have these two monitors right here connected to it. And then you have the Legion Go screen as well, and it will all work fine. The Legion Go can also go up to 8K 60 Hertz or 4K 240 Hertz. So this monitor is a 165 Hertz screen, and the Legion Go could take advantage of that. It's pretty sick. But yeah, that is external monitor with the iPad Pro. So in terms of styluses, you have the Apple Pencil on the iPad Pro, and you can do a lot with it. You can get real art done, real professional work done. A lot of professionals actually use this kind of setup with the Apple Pencil and the iPad Pro. You have access to many professional apps that are smooth and optimized for the iPad. So you got Affinity Photo, Procreate, and a lot of different creative tools on the iPad itself. Generally, the Apple Pencil is going to be a really good stylus experience for painting, for taking notes and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people use this as their digital planner and notebook as well. Like, it's just really cool. The Legion Go doesn't support styluses on its screen. It doesn't have a digitizer. However, you can use capacitive styluses like this that simulate a finger's touch. And this experience is pretty smooth. Like, it's very fast. I'm using Paint right now, and it works. Like, you can definitely get some stuff done with this for sure. It's obviously not going to be to the level of the iPad, but you can do real art on the Legion Go if you wanted to. And on top of that, because it is a PC, you can connect actual styluses, like Wacom styluses. You can connect like digital sketching pads like that are external from the actual screen itself, because it is a PC, right? So you can connect those things and go to work. You have access to full desktop apps like Photoshop. You got Krita, the desktop version. You got so many different desktop apps that are actually used in the professional world of drawing and digital art. You got Adobe Illustrator, the full Adobe suite, and things like that. So although it doesn't have native stylus support built in, it does give you access to so many different things in terms of software and different things you connect to the device itself. So there is some flexibility there. But yeah, for quick note taking, this capacitive stylus right here is actually not bad at all. It doesn't have palm rejection, obviously, so you gotta keep that in mind. But yeah, like let's say, taking notes. So that's the full comparison between the Legion Go and the iPad Pro. These are very different devices, but they can be used in similar ways as you've seen in this video. And it really just comes down to what you value the most. Like, the iPad Pro is very simple. It's an easy workflow, and you can get professional work done very easily on the iPad Pro with specific apps. A smoother time when it comes to that. Like, you could literally just open up Procreate and get to work. The Legion Go, you're gonna have to tinker it to get, similar kind of apps to work on it and to, figure out how to get stylus support. Then when it comes to video editing, you have LumaFusion, you got Final Cut Pro, you got DaVinci Resolve on the iPad, and they just work very smooth. They're optimized for the iPad. On the Legion Go, you got DaVinci Resolve. Any desktop program will work on the Legion Go, but like you're gonna have to work around the power issues. It's not as powerful as the iPad in terms of 4K video editing. It's definitely not as smooth. So you're gonna have to work around like optimizing that using proxies, figuring out how to get it to work on the Legion Go, using an external screen because you're probably not gonna edit on this. You could actually, and I've seen people use the buttons for inputs for quick shortcuts and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the iPad is just gonna be a simple and easier workflow. So it really depends on what you need each of these devices for. The gaming experience is deeper on the Legion Go, but very easy on the iPad in terms of you can open up a game and just start playing and play at the highest graphics with no tinkering and stuff like that. So it really comes down to what you want. But yeah, that is my comparison between the Legion Go and the iPad Pro. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until the next video, we are out. Peace.